Hey guys, we're here today with our November TBR where we're going to be talking to you about what books we hope to read this month. So without further ado, let's just get into the books. So the first book that I can't wait to read this month is Starfish by Akemi Bowman, and this was actually sent to me as a surprise from Simon & Schuster, and I received it the day before I was going to go buy it myself at the bookstore, so it was very cosmic and I'm very grateful to have received it. This book's been on my radar for quite a while. I first fell in love with it because of the cover. I don't know, you might not know this, but I really love sea creatures, especially jellyfish. I even have one tattooed on me, so this cover immediately drew my eye. But the book inside sounds awesome too. So this is a story about a girl named Kiko who really wants to go to this art school, but unfortunately she doesn't get in. And right around the time that she finds out that she didn't get accepted, her abusive uncle also moves back in with her family. So when her friends ask her if she wants to go on a road trip to kind of scout out new art schools along the coast, she eagerly accepts. It sounds like it's a really great coming of age novel, and I think it's going to be quite sad as well, but I'm really excited to read it. It sounds like exactly my type of book, so I'm very grateful to have a copy.
So the first book that I want to read in the month of November is Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. Now I actually picked this up at a thrift store recently. I had never actually heard of it before, but it sounds really fun. From what I gather, it is like a murder mystery novel that takes place after the events of Pride and Prejudice with the same characters. So I love Pride and Prejudice, so this sounds like a really fun book and I can't wait to dive into this one.
The first book on my November TBR is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. At everyone here at OwlCrate's insistence, I read A Darker Shade of Magic last month and I absolutely loved it, so I need to find out what happens next with everybody in this world.
And another book that I can't wait to read is A Line in the Dark by Melinda. And I'll admit, pretty much the only reason why I picked this up is because I saw Books on Lala talking about it and she really enjoyed it. The cover is very intriguing. I don't know too much about it. It seems kind of like a thriller, but it just kind of sounds like a very intense story about friends, and I think it'll be perfect to read this time of year.
Next up, I want to read Year Zero by Reid. Now this is another book that I hadn't really heard of, but I just read the back and it sounds so weird, but really funny. I'm actually just going to read one of the sentences off the back of the book because I think it really sums up how weird this is going to be, but I'm so intrigued. So the back says, "The entire cosmos," they tell him, "has been hopelessly hooked on American pop songs since Year Zero, 1977 to us, resulting in the biggest copyright violation since the Big Bang and bankrupting the whole universe." This definitely sounds like a sci-fi novel I have never seen before, and I'm really interested to see how it goes.
The next book on my list is The Truth as Told by Mason Buttle by Leslie Connor. This is about 12-year-old Mason Buttle, who is the biggest kid in class and is really badly bullied by everyone else in his class. For many reasons, but one in particular is that he has pretty severe learning disabilities. So on top of all of that, his best friend died 15 months ago, and everyone seems to think that he is involved. So this is Mason telling his own story and just trying to get people to listen to him and hear what he has to say. From all the reviews that I've read so far, I think I'm gonna need a box of tissues next to me for this one, but I'm really looking forward to it.
And finally, the last book that I hope to read this month is Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I've just heard nothing but good things about this book. I've seen it everywhere online, so I had to pick up my own copy. So all I really know about this story is it's about a human girl who paints portraits of fairy folk for a living, and one day she is tasked to paint the portrait of a fairy prince, and he's not happy with how it turns out, so he kidnaps her and kind of takes her away, and I think it becomes like a bit of an epic survival story from there. I've started reading more books about fae over the last few months, and I've really enjoyed them, so I'm quite excited to check this one out for myself and see what I think.
And finally, I have Runebinder by Kahler. Now I don't know a whole lot about this book, but it sounds really interesting. It is a fantasy novel, which kind of sounds like there is a zombie situation kind of going on. All I know is it's once humans that are now called howls, so I don't know what that means, but it sounds like zombies to me. I think our main character is somebody who hunts these creatures, and I don't really want to go too far into it because I love being surprised by new fantasy novels. I also know, and what attracted me to this book the most, is there are LGBT main characters in here, and that's so hard to find in fantasy, so I'm definitely curious to see how this one goes.
And the last book on my November TBR is called Wild Things: The Joy of Reading Children's Literature as an Adult by Bruce Handy. So this book is just an exploration of why it's still so amazing to read all of the classics that we grew up with as children as adults, and why they're absolutely still worth sharing with the kids in your life. All the reviews say it's very funny and really readable, and I just can't wait to rediscover all of the books that I read as a kid.
Alright, so that was just a few of the books that we are hoping to read in November. Let us know some books that you're planning to read in the comments down below. We'd love to know. As per usual, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Happy reading and thanks for being awesome. Bye!
Bye!